Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, October 20, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:42 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:42 p.m. Jamaica time. So that just came out, what, about a good 10-15 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. And all we have left on the map is Hurricane Oscar. A little over an hour ago, we had the remnants of Nadine across portions of Mexico. And if we look at the clouds associated with that system, definitely still bring a lot of cloud showers and thunderstorms across portions of Mexico, the northern and western portions of Guatemala, even sections of northern Belize still getting on some amount of rainfall. And we can see that huge blow-up of convection right there to the south of Mexico as well. And as expected, Nadine's remnants is expected to move into the eastern Pacific and possibly move westward and develop back into a tropical storm as well as a hurricane. Both the GFS supercomputer model spaghetti plots show this, as well as the European model spaghetti plots. So it's definitely gonna be bumped up again back to a tropical storm as well as a hurricane at that. And the next name on the Eastern Pacific list is Christy. So that's the name that is going to be acquiring. So it's not going to be keeping the name Nadine when it redevelops. It's going to be referred to as Christy, considering that that's the name, or that's the next name on the Eastern Pacific list. Let us focus our attention on the big thing on everybody's lips. It's Hurricane Oscar, definitely making landfall into portions of eastern Cuba as we speak. We can definitely see the thunderstorms associated with this system, the blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks, the grays, the pinks. Definitely some bad weather taking place across portions of eastern Cuba and even sections of the southern Bahamas still getting plagued with some of that. And we know these things go. They can definitely cause power outages, and for your information, Cuba has already been getting in on some blackouts for the past couple of days, and there are a lot of persons who don't know that the system is coming. So boy, we just have to pray. Hopefully there's nothing bad coming out of Cuba in the next couple of days regarding people losing their life or anything like that. Can you imagine living in a time where we don't have electricity or anything to warn us that there is a hurricane coming our way? That is crazy. Anyways, regarding the track, we see that the supercomputer models right here definitely in agreement that it's gonna be coming more so inland into portions of eastern Cuba, then pushing northward back into the Bahamas. We see that both the Euro and the GFS spaghetti models are in agreement with that. Even regarding the intensity, considering that it's gonna be crossing over Cuba, losing all of that warm water, definitely going to be downgrading back from a hurricane. As we can see, hurricane status right here, anywhere from 65 knots all the way upward, and tropical storm status anywhere from 35 knots all the way up to 65 knots. So it's definitely going to be going down. Back we see all the lines in consensus is going to be going back to tropical storm status, some of it even making it as far as back to a remnant low, maybe a tropical depression. We'll see exactly what unfolds. As of right now, the hurricane center has it at a hurricane status, so it's a 75 mile per hour hurricane as of right now, which makes the system a low-end category 1. We know that category 1 hurricanes, anywhere from 74 to 95 mile per hour winds is what they're packing. As of right now, Oscar is moving towards the west-southwest at 6 miles per hour, and he's expected to downgrade, as you can see here by the S's. Definitely should be back to a tropical storm by tomorrow morning when we get up. We still have hurricane warnings up for a portion of eastern Cuba. The blues that we know represents tropical storm warning. Still up for a portion of the southern Bahamas. Tropical storm watches up for eastern Cuba, as well as portion of the central Bahamas. So it's definitely going to be pushing northward, then pushing northeastward all day into Wednesday. Who knows, maybe Bermuda might get in on some of the action later on down the road. And we can definitely see the track that Oscar took. Definitely from east to west across the waters to the south of the Turks and Caicos. So they were definitely spared the worst of it. We see the Burgundies representing where we would have had the hurricane force winds. The gold represents where we had the tropical storm force winds. And this is definitely going to be updated as of the 10 p.m. advisor, showing these hurricane force winds coming inland for sure into portion of eastern Cuba. And there's still a lot of rainfall yet to come. This updated map from the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing all the rainfall. We see the light greens to the north of Jamaica right here. That represents 1 to 2 inches of rainfall still to come. And calculated that's anywhere from 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. We see the darker greens represents anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. That's 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall. But look at the yellows, look at the gold, look at the oranges. That represents anywhere from 4 all the way up to 12 inches of rainfall. That's anywhere from 100 all the way up to 300 millimeters of rainfall. So they're definitely going to be getting in on a lot of rainfall for sure. And the thing is that there is a lot of topography, lots of mountains in Cuba. So it's not just gonna be flooding, but landslides, rock slides, you name it. Hopefully it's not as bad as what is being projected. Boy, don't want to hear anything about anybody losing their lives. We can only hope and pray, keep our fingers crossed that nothing bad will occur and everyone is staying safe. And we already have some footage coming out of Cuba. Some persons have generators, some persons can get their phones charged and still have service. We have a video here from Centinela 35 highlighting the hurricane Oscar, definitely causing some big waves right here across the coastal areas of Cuba. I mean, look at these huge waves. Look at this coming on the road that a car just drove past on. This is just ridiculous, and it's just a category 1 hurricane doing all of this. Can you imagine if it was a category 5? Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the people are actually keeping safe. We even have another video right here when translated from Spanish stating strong winds from Hurricane Oscar blowing in Jamal, Baracoa, Cuba. And here we have it right here. You can definitely see the wind definitely doing a number on, if not the wall, the windows. These trees definitely being blown from left to right. Definitely a bad situation. Boy, these banana trees can't catch a break when it comes to these hurricanes. Hopefully everybody is staying safe as we speak. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a tropical wave right here to the east of Jamaica. To the east of the tropical wave, we have some broken orange lines right here associated with a trough. Some troughs right here to the north of the Caribbean. One right there, one right here to the north of the Eastern Caribbean, another one right here to the north of the main development region, another one to the east of it, another one to the south of that one, and to the east of that one we have a tropical wave right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, and to the northeast of that tropical wave we have that ridge of high pressure. And it's this ridge of high pressure that's responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds laden with Saharan dust blowing across the main development region from east to west. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can actually make out the clouds associated with the numerous troughs across the waters of the northern portion of North Atlantic attached to Hurricane Oscar right here. We can actually make out some of the moisture associated with the tropical wave, as well as the trough across portions of the central to the eastern Caribbean. And we can also make out the clouds associated with that tropical wave to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, the trough to the west of that as well. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, October 20, 2024. It was stated that parts of some northern and eastern parishes would have received some rainfall last night, that Saturday night, into Sunday morning, and that would have received some afternoon rainfall across sections of some southern and western parishes during Sunday afternoon. And just for reference, you know, northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county, well, not in the county, those parishes on the top side of the island, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. And then what was forecasted for the afternoons for the rainfall across southern parishes, and we know southern parishes, we're talking about St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clyde, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. Western parishes were also in the mix for afternoon rainfall, and we know we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening, as early as 1 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page over the Jamaica. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're made on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted at around 1 a.m. and they highlighted the greens and the yellows that we know represent some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall, definitely especially to the north of St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland right there. But some of this was definitely already coming into section of Portland. Some of this was already coming into section of St. Thomas as well. So that indeed confirms the rainfall, that early morning, late night rainfall, late Saturday night rainfall, early Sunday morning rainfall for portions of northern Jamaica. And we saw that direction definitely flowing in from the north for sure. And as the day progressed, as we headed into the morning, and we started to get that sunlight at around 6:25 a.m., the infrared satellite images were posted, and they highlighted not only the thunderstorms that were coming into portion of northern Jamaica, as we can see here. You can make out the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So that indeed confirmed the morning rainfall for portions of Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, definitely getting in on some thunderstorms. And we saw the high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the southwest by that upper level wind shear that we spoke about in yesterday's video. And then in the afternoon now, at around 2:45 p.m., the visible close-up satellite image was posted, and it highlighted some clouds bringing some isolated thunderstorms to portions of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth at that time. Even section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, St. Catherine got in on some of the action too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can make it out even better. Look at all the clouds, especially across section of some southern parishes. St. Thomas definitely got in on the mix. I'm there. I got in on some of the rainfall. Section of Kingston, St. Andrew as well. Section of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth got in on some of the afternoon rainfall, just as predicted. And if we take a look back at the infrared satellite images, we can actually make out the thunderstorms. Anywhere you see the sparkling white dot, that's where we had some amount of thunderstorms somewhere across the island. Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, section of St. Catherine, section of St. Thomas right there, definitely got in on some of the afternoon thunderstorms. Even though we see a lot of clouds pushing down from the northeast, those are high cloud tops. they don't have much in the way of rain within them, which explains why during the afternoon northern Jamaica wasn't getting in on much rainfall. Maybe some rainfall across sections of Portland, but that was just about it. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, by the way, if you don't know by now, we have a partnership with this channel. They show live streams of Halfway Tree, Crossroads, Flatbridge, the panoramic city view, you name it. And they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. So right here at around 4:37 p.m. Halfway Tree was definitely getting in on some amount of light to moderate rainfall. We can definitely see some persons here with their umbrellas out, some persons here with their windshield wipers on for sure. Definitely wet soaking ground for the most part across Halfway Tree at that time. And we also have a confirmation here from one of our followers on our Facebook page. We had Lance Brown stating it's raining. Even on our Instagram page, we had a comment coming in. One underscore Glohana stating, look like Oscar reached thunderstorm in St. Anne. And this was posted 12 hours ago. So that was this morning. Then we also had Rose Anise stating, thunderstorm now in St. Mary. And we also had Anto underscore Netty underscore 89 stating, at 4:10 p.m. it's raining heavily Duane Park. And that's in St. Andrew right there. So that goes to show you that we were definitely getting on that afternoon rainfall. And we also have L.A. Bramwell stating raining in St. Catherine. So that indeed confirms the rainfall for northern Jamaica in the morning and southern Jamaica in the afternoon. And if we take a look at the very latest still infrared close-up satellite image of Jamaica that just came out at 55 minutes past the hour. So this is the latest image that just came out at 6:55 p.m. So this one just came out, what, 15 minutes ago. And we can still make out some isolated thunderstorms still affecting portion of southern St. Elizabeth, section of southern St. Catherine for sure, still getting in on some amount of isolated thunderstorms. Even the waters to the southwest of Jamaica still getting plagued by some amount of thunderstorms as we speak. And unfortunately, we don't have the latest Cuban Doppler radar images to show. The latest was as of 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3:20 p.m. Jamaica time. But we can indeed make out the rainfall that was affecting portions of southern Jamaica at that time. Section of St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland for sure. Hopefully they get this sorted out quickly. Boy, the Cuban Doppler radar has been glitching out a lot. But looky here, the Guantanamo Bay Naval Radar Station definitely active with Hurricane Kirk, definitely making landfall as we speak. Look at the heavy rainfall. Look at all of this spinning around. We can definitely make out the eye wall for sure right in here. Look at all of that. And we know the high wall has the strongest winds and heaviest rainfall. So right there across eastern Cuba, definitely feeling the most impact of Hurricane Oscar right now. You can even see some of the outer bands right here to the southwest of it. Some of this might definitely spin right around and make it into portion of northern Jamaica tonight. You can also see some rain bands across the western peninsula of Haiti pushing north. We know the drill. Everything regarding these systems has a flow around it, an anti-clockwise flow. So it only makes sense that would get the rain from the north on the western side, the rain from the south on the eastern side. So it makes sense that all of this rainfall is lifting to the north from the western peninsula of Haiti, and all of this rainfall is pushing southward, some of which is going to be making its way into portion of northern Jamaica later on tonight as the system continues to trek westward and then pushes towards the north eventually. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can definitely make out some of that rainfall across section of southern and western Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, sections of Westmoreland for sure. Some of this rainfall definitely to the south of the Grand Cayman Island right there. And if we take a look at the very latest Flatbridge cam, not seeing much taking place. People in their vehicles going about their business. Doesn't look like it rained much across that part of St. Catherine. Water not in Spade Rear Cobra, definitely chilling as we speak. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we're 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look here at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Monday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Monday, and we can see Jamaica right here for the most part embedded in some slight yellow colors that we know represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. 89 degrees Fahrenheit, when calculated, is 31.6 degrees Celsius. So considering that we're going to be getting 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures tomorrow, it should be anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. So you know the drill. We have to try our very best to beat the heat, avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough how important it is, so always stay hydrated. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty all the way throughout the day from morning till night. Continuously drink a lot of water for sure. Stay hydrated as much as possible. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we can see all the browns that represent the Saharan dust stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region into portion of the eastern to now the central Caribbean. Definitely making its way into portion of ABC Islands by 2 p.m. on Monday. All of this right now affecting portions of the Leeward and the Windward Islands. And we see the browns. We know the browns. The browns represent the Saharan dust that can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, sinus, asthma, you name it. So what we're only hoping is that Jamaica, which is right here under the word port, hopefully by the time it gets to the west and reaches our neck of the woods, it has dwindled down or dissipated as it normally does. The more westward it goes, the more it dwindles. But we can see that it is quite kind of a vigorous plume in a sense, not necessarily vigorous, but it's definitely going to be evident in the atmosphere across the Eastern Caribbean for sure. Hopefully it dwindles by the time it gets to the Western Caribbean near Jamaica. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that from the Western Caribbean to the Eastern Caribbean, we should be getting in on those lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues that represent what we see on the key on the bottom right. 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all. More bluish colors, dull greens, and slightly brighter greens. That represents anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots. We can see across the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, the wind should be coming in from the northeast. You can definitely see that flow into Oscar right here for tomorrow. A kind of southerly flow. And across the Eastern Caribbean coming in from the east, curving northward as we see there. But regarding the close-up of Jamaica and what's expected, look at this. We're not used to this at all. On the western end, the winds should be coming in from the north. By the way, keep in mind that this is valid for 12 p.m. on Monday. On the south coast, winds seem to be coming in from the south or the southwest. On the north coast, maybe the central northern portion of the island, coming in more so from the west. We see that flow. All of this has to do with the atmosphere or the influence from Oscar in general. But we see what's happening and we know what can happen. We can have some rainfall coming in from the south, affecting sections of some southern parishes. We can have wherever we have that blue or that lack of wind, that's where we could have the air piling up for the afternoon convection. The low level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds. So look out for that. And we can even have some rainfall coming in from the north across sections of some northwestern parishes for sure, Hanover, St. James. We'll see how all of that plays out tomorrow. Quite an interesting weather pattern for Jamaica tomorrow. Either way, as of tonight, Keep in mind that this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing the rainfall forecast for 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 12 a.m. Jamaica time, so midnight tonight. We make out the blues that represent rainfall across sections of some northwestern parishes right here on the Euro, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover. The GFS showing the blues that represent rainfall across western Hanover, western Westmoreland, sections of northeastern St. Anne, St. Mary. We'll see how all of that plays out. We see some rainfall right here between Cuba and Jamaica. Let's see exactly what unfolds. As of right now, the consensus is for rainfall somewhere across northern Jamaica. Then as we head into tomorrow, this is valid for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time. And we're kind of making out some blues, some isolated shores in and around the island for sure. Section of eastern Jamaica, section of south central and northern Jamaica on the GFS. You're showing some dots of blues across portion of the island. We'll see how that plays out for 10 a.m. as we head into 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Look at what we see here. The blues and even some dark blues in there, as well as some greens, even some yellows that represent some heavy rainfall on the Euro for central and eastern Jamaica, even portion of western Jamaica getting in on the mix. GFS showing something similar regarding the location, mainly central and eastern Jamaica, more so northern Jamaica during the afternoon. It makes sense considering that southwesterly flow, not so much taking place across western or southwestern parishes. We'll see how all of that plays out. Then by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time, we still have some blues that represent rainfall across the waters in and around the island. So it's gonna be quite an interesting day tomorrow. Don't be upset if you don't get rainfall, and don't be surprised if you get rainfall given the current weather pattern. It's all over the place. Weather is actually continuously changing the more we have Oscar across, well, near our area within the next 24 hours. And we can see that both accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica tomorrow. Both maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way for rainfall. The Euro has most of the rainfall across central and western Jamaica, with the yellows and the golds represent all the way up to 0.4 inches, as we can see by the key on the right. GFS has the most rainfall across eastern Jamaica, as we can see by the yellow, all the way up to 0.3 inch of rainfall. But we'll definitely take it. We're in the month of October. We're in the wettest month of the year across the island. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown here at the top, we usually receive up to 170 millimeters of rainfall. That's around the same as 7 inches of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive 8.5 inches of rainfall. That's about the same as 212 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com to find out for yourself. And you can do the calculations on your own, considering this is a graphic here showing how it is done regarding the rainfall that's collected on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, so we do have some amount of moisture coming into portion of the Eastern Caribbean for sure as we speak, associated with the tropical wave, the numerous troughs attached to that system. We're watching Oscar right here. We can see a lot of moisture still coming into portions of Central America. And we can see the usual thunderstorm activity across portions of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica for sure. We even can make out the trough as well as the tropical wave. All of this is pushing westward. So even although we have Saharan dust, some moisture definitely coming to the Eastern Caribbean and eventually to the Central and Western Caribbean. So even after Oscar is out of here, we still have more rainfall to receive all the way up until the end of November. If we take a look at the Cuban, well, not the Cuban Doppler radar, but the wide satellite, well, light Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean. So we can see some rainfall right here between the the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, definitely some moderate to heavy rainfall, and we can definitely make out some rainfall in and around Antigua and Barbuda, to the east of Guadeloupe and Dominica. If we load these images from earlier today, let's see what was taking place across Puerto Rico. Definitely some heavy rainfall across northwestern Puerto Rico, and we saw what was taking place across the Leeward Islands, anywhere from St. Lucia northward. Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe was getting on some hit or miss isolated showers. If you take a look at the Barbados radar, not seeing much taking place across Barbados right now. Some isolated showers coming in from the east, maybe to affect the island later on tonight. Some rainfall in and around Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some rainfall just exiting the coast of Grenada as we speak. And if we scroll down, we can definitely make out some isolated showers to the east of Tobago. Some rainfall already plaguing portion of Trinidad, and it seems to be that more could be affecting the island tonight into tomorrow. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can actually make out some rainfall coming into portion of the ABC Islands as we speak. Some rainfall coming into portion of Venezuela, sections of northwestern Venezuela as well, Colombia right there. Some rainfall to the east of Nicaragua. Some rainfall across portions of Honduras. So too Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, associated with all of the moisture that we just saw across the Western Caribbean, so it makes sense. And regarding where all of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, you can see the most rainfall is definitely going to be where we have Oscar, definitely going to be churning up and causing a lot of heavy rainfall. Look at all of this on the Euro, all the way up into the lighter shades of blue that represents the 12 to 20 inch range. That is just ridiculous. GFS not so impressed, maybe up into the pinks, maybe the peach colors, all the way up to 7 inches of rainfall. But we saw what the Hurricane Center forecasted, all the way up to 12 inches, especially in those mountainous regions. So they're definitely in for a soaking in general. Hopefully it's nothing drastic to cause loss of life. We can definitely see the greens, the yellows, the oranges represents anywhere from 0.2 all the way up to 0.75 for an inch of rainfall. The rest represents all the way up to an inch of rainfall. And all of this is expected for portions of the northern Bahamas, eastern Florida, the central to the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, Jamaica. Sections of the Cayman Islands seem to be in for some of the rainfalls we can see here on the Euro. Not so much on the GFS. We'll see how that plays out. If we take a look, Haiti, Dominican Republic could be in for some rainfall. So to Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, the Leeward Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, sections of Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Bart, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Suriname. You can see section of French Guiana getting in the mix as well. So to Guyana, Venezuela, the ABC Islands, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico as well. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.